Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm filming a tiny quick review for Secret Project 4 by Brandon Sanderson. This one was released for the supporters of the Kickstarter on the 1st of October and it's the last of the Secret Project books that is coming. It's a bit weird that we're not getting any more because it was kind of fun, like you had like a, subscription service where you were handed a Brandon Sanderson every 4 months, and it was fun and I really enjoyed like the whole experience, and I gotten some very pretty books. My Secret Project 4 hasn't arrived yet, but I do believe I got an email it was shipped on its way. I don't remember, but I read it on my Kindle and I have some thoughts but not really that much to say. I feel like I've been avoiding reviews like the plague as well because I didn't want them to affect what I had in my mind. I feel like there's a lot of stuff in the book that, to be honest, I didn't understand, which is fine. And because of that, I didn't want to watch reviews that explained it because I feel like that would be ingenuine before filming this video. I might watch and read stuff after this. But basically, this book is written for the Cosmere fans. This book is written for the people who have been enjoying and being a fan of Branson's for many years. Like I have, for example. That sounded very like I'm a fan. But I just meant that I liked this work for years, even though I did read some like archive very late, for example. And he dedicated it to us, to his fans, and I thought it was really sweet. It is very much a Cosmere focused book where we have references to a lot of the things in the universe. And here's what I meant, where I don't know if I understood everything because it's been a while since I read some of the books, so I don't remember everything. But at the same time, there's been a very little while since I read some of them as well. So some of them I caught up really fast. It was very interesting to see the Cosmere universe from this perspective because it's a very different perspective in my head than we've gotten before. It was very interesting to see these people use kind of these abilities and like these things that we know in different ways and references to things we know in different ways than what we have seen before. And I thought that was quite fun. I am not going to talk spoiler in this because I obviously there's a lot of things you could like go deep into and talk about the different references and talk about the things that happen and how it affects like the bigger world or etc. I'm not going to do that. I'm not smart enough for that either. But I just have thoughts still. It's more like, obviously, I could say, I don't think you could enjoy this book without having read the other Cosmere work. And I think that is fine. It is written like that in that way. But I feel like sometimes since Brandon Sanderson has so many books, it can be hard to tell. Because obviously it was also a secret project. We didn't know this before reading the book. Like you could just be wanting to read a secret projects. And like, obviously, I assume you would be interested in his work before, but he had other secret projects where you wouldn't have to read any of them to have read a Cosmere. And in this one, to truly enjoy it, I think you have to. Obviously, you can just read it too and have fun with the story as it is, but you wouldn't get like the full image, which is like, it's not necessarily an issue, but it's like, I would recommend reading this like after many other books, while like, I feel like you could have read Yumi or like Frugal Wizard whenever you wanted. But in this one you can't do that. And I feel like that is okay. But at the same time, since it is kind of a secret book, it's hard to know that beforehand. But now obviously everyone knows. It's not a problem in that regard. But if I had known that, if it wasn't a secret project, if I'd known, if people was like telling me before, I probably would have like wanted to reread through a lot of his other books before reading this one to get the full experience. I mean, some people might not need that because they do remember everything really well compared to me, which is fine. And for me, if I think more about it as well, if you remove all the things in the book that like was kind of references and built upon his other works, which is like what Cosmere does, which is fine. It's like, how fun was the book on its own? Maybe that is like an unfair question to ask because like obviously they build on each other in a way, but they also don't, you know? I could say that about the other books that he has written as well in the Cosmere, but I feel like they stand as their own books. Like you sometimes forget that they're in the same universe, just that they built very like similar. But in this one, I'm like, how fun would it have been without references? How fun would it have been if I knew it was written by Brandon Sanderson? I'm sorry. And I just felt like I didn't fall in love with the characters. I didn't fall in love with what was happening. I like frankly found myself not caring that much. And it was quite disappointing for me. I don't know, as I said, if it's because there's a lot of things in the Cosmere I don't remember. I don't know if it's because I just like was too stupid to understand. That also might be a thing. It sounds a bit cruel to myself, but you get what I mean. But it was just something that didn't hook me quite, and I feel like this is an honest thing to say, that in a few years when I reread through all of the Cosmere and I read this again, I feel like it could easily become like a high tier book for me and be like, oh my god, why didn't I see it for the first time? So I feel like I could easily change my opinion. But right now as a stan, I'm just like, it was kind of forgettable for me. And I didn't feel like that much like enjoyment or fun reading it. It was kind of felt like I had to read it because I decided I had to read it. It upsets me to say this because, as I said many times before, Brandon Sanderson is one of my favorite authors and he has written some of my favorite stories of all time. But overall, out of all the secret projects, just to compare, I only loved one of them. And now I'm sitting here like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean for me? I feel like most people have loved a lot of them and had great fun with them. But there was just so many elements in the story and just how they were built up that I didn't enjoy. And, you know, that's also okay. But I'm also, like, kind of shocked that that is how I feel because I assumed that they will all be 5-star reads and I gave only a trust stat. And I'm, like, questioning, did I even low trust or did I just trick myself into doing it? But yeah, so trying to explain exactly what didn't work for me, I just felt very curious in the beginning of, like, what was going on. And as it unraveled and as we, like, tried to figure it out, my brain was just trying to remember what is going on in his other books, and it bugged me a bit. But I don't know, is that on me? Is it my fault? Very well must be, because it's written, I think, that you have to read it to know. You have to read it and remember and check stuff and like know where the stuff that is happening there is coming from. And that is fun. That is actually very cool. And I love it when pieces come together and like when you get like, maybe nostalgia is the wrong word, but you get like a ha-ha feeling because things hang together with all the things you've seen before. I love that feeling, but maybe again it's my own problem that I didn't reach that. I knew what we were talking about, but I just couldn't remember. And I don't know if I was the only one having this experience or if everyone is just remembers everything. But yeah, I was just trying to enjoy the story for what it was and like the small things that was happening. Some of it was fun, but the characters that we met, and I don't just mean our main character, I was just like, who are these people? I don't care about them. and in the end, then the story ended and I was just sitting there like, it gave me nothing. And again, I feel like it's something I might change in the future and that I will feel like much bigger fan of it as I reread the Cosmere, which I will probably do a couple of times in my lifetime. So yeah, that is how I ended up feeling. I gave it like a 3 out of 5 stars. I don't really feel like giving it more. I don't really feel like giving it less. Like, I liked it because it didn't, but it was nowhere near like, oh my god, favorite book feeling at all. And I guess that's what I have to say. I said it was going to be short. I said what I wanted to say. I feel like a lot of other people truly enjoyed this and thought it was cool and brilliant. And it probably is, just not for me this time around. But in the end, I will probably get it. And yeah, I guess that's what I got to say. But yeah, I have some very pretty books in my shelves. I'm reading some incredible stories from a truly mastermind. I'm always excited for what comes next. So yeah, that's what I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a sun emoji down below if you have enjoyed this and you should see me soon in a new one. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye!